Hey guys, Making 3D here. So, did you just get a 3D printer? Well, today I'm going to be telling you a couple of tips that took me 2 years to learn that will help you get into 3D printing a lot easier. At the very beginning, when you're just starting your 3D printing, you can be very unsure about yourself, being scared to make the bigger prints. But today, these tips may help you or encourage you to make those 20 or 30 meter prints, maybe even 60 meter prints. One of the greatest tips I can give you of all is not even including the 3D printer. The 3D printer is a big part of this entire thing, but one of the bigger parts is your attitude. You can't give up 3D printing because of a big 3D print that has failed. You need to keep on pushing on. You will only learn by failing, and failing is a huge part of this. You cannot get anywhere without failing. And you just have to remember that, to not give up because pieces aren't working. One of the more important parts of the 3D printer aspect of this is blue tape. Now you can use thin blue tape, wide blue tape, it really doesn't matter. Right, I use cheaper blue tape, and the problem that you get with that is within like 14 days it starts to get off, like hard to get off the build plate. But if you buy the more like $5 or $6 blue tape, it won't be such an issue. So if you are doing this, you just want to make sure your build plate is dry and clean. It will not adhere if it's not dry and clean. This blue tape passes the heat from the heated bed really well, and you don't need a heated bed to use this. I just really like blue tape because it is so easy to clean, and it really makes getting the pieces off the bed super easy. So all I do is I just take it, and I just line her up right at the edge of the calibrating pedestals and just apply it down. Now, a lot of people say that you shouldn't touch your build plate with your fingers because of the oils, but I made sure that my fingers were washed, and I just washed down this bed with isopropyl alcohol, so there shouldn't be very many oils on my fingers at all. So, an important aspect of all this is to have a razor knife handy. A razor knife will really help you in cutting the sides of the blue tape and just make it look really nice and clean. Now you don't want too many gaps in this because it'll cause like problems with the texturing of the 3D print. So your main goal here is to make this blue tape perfectly flat with no overlay right here. There's a little bit right there, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue because I don't print on this side of the bed. But if you have any overlay, it'll ruin the textures of the print, and you can get off on it sometimes. This much gap right here is fine. It's only about the width of a razor blade, and a razor blade is really thin. So it's not that big of a deal. Now, sometimes your bed isn't the same size as the width of your tape altogether. So, like me on this DaVinci Pro, I always run into this problem where I have to always clip a little bit at the end of this. Okay, so another important part of this is because the blue painter's tape won't adhere the filament very well by itself. It does a lot better than the build plate alone, but it's not the solver to all your problems. What you need is a little bit of glue stick. There's a couple of brands that make stuff like just for 3D printers, but I just use regular glue stick. I've never had a problem with it. So what you want to do is you want to wait until the bed is warm, and then you apply the glue stick. Now you're going to see a little bit of steam come off of it, and that's just the water vapor and the glue stick coming off. The nice thing about glue stick, in my opinion, is the fact that every time it warms up, it gets sticky again. And so your glue stick lasts as long as the blue painter's tape does. And for me, that's about 20 prints. So another tip I can give is before or after each taping, there's always a little bit of scrap of blue tape everywhere. And that's not very good for the print bed because it has to be almost perfectly level for the filament to adhere. So what I use is just some regular isopropyl alcohol. Now what you want to make sure is that this bed or this extruder up here is not hot at all because it's alcohol. It's very flammable and you really don't want that. It's an expensive printer, and more expensive than that is the house that might come down if you try to do this with the bed hot. So just take safety precautions before doing this, but this is a really good way of cleaning it. So you just take the isopropyl alcohol and just put it right onto the paper towel. And this will clean off all the glue stick residue and most of the blue tape residue. It takes it right off with ease. Within seconds, something that could take me 15 minutes to peel off is coming off with just a scrape of thumbnail. One of these scrapers that you get with the 3D printer is really helpful for getting this off. If it's loosened down to a point. This might not help me very much, but if it's loosened down to like a great extent, then it will come right off. And there you go. Your 3D printer bed is still a little bit wet from the isopropyl alcohol, but it is clean and ready to be blue taped. So thank you for watching these videos. I hope these tips allow you to excel in 3D printing more. And if I would have known these tips a long time ago, I would have gotten so much further than I am now. So, happy printing.